In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at 10 one-hit wonders that appeared on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, and today we're going to be looking at games that only got a single release. There was no sequel, neither on the Sega Mega Drive or any console since. And the games that we're considering as one-hit wonders for this show are either a commercial or critical success. Now, if you're new to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, why not consider pressing some of the YouTube buttons that you'll find around this video here. Right, let's take a look at 10 games that were critically successful, commercially successful, or both. Comix Zone is without doubt one of the best looking games on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. Its unique gameplay mechanics and presentation made it an instant hit with gamers and critics. Despite the game's difficulty, it's had several re-releases and is on several compilations, including the Mega Drive Mini. Regardless of its success and continued adulation from fans, the game remains a one-hit wonder with no sequel for Sega's 16-bit classic. Landstalker remains one of the most critically and commercially successful RPGs on the Sega Genesis. The game is a sizable RPG and is often compared to Nintendo's Zelda, but in a lot of ways does more than its superstar cousin. The game's mature art style, diverse worlds and environments, coupled with some great exploration, upgrading, and combat makes this a must-have for most Mega Drive owners. Given its commercial and critical success, you'd have thought that a direct sequel would be a no-brainer for developers. However, all we saw was a spin-off of the game on the SNES called Lady Stalker: Challenge from the Past. Zero Wing, the arcade classic that was brought to the Sega Mega Drive in 1991, was not only a successful shmup, but its European release spawned the internet meme, "All your base are belong to us." Although if you've played the game for any length of time, you'll know that that is nowhere near the worst translation that you'll find within this game, and they get even crazier as the conversations go on. Zero Wing was considered an instant Toaplan classic and enjoyed some good success as well as being a fan favourite. However, despite its internet notoriety, successful ports and re-releases, it never got a sequel. It's not unusual for you to hear Alien Storm being mentioned alongside its arcade brother Golden Axe. But despite the arcade and console success of Alien Storm, it never received a sequel. The game had some fast-paced run and gun as well as beat 'em up and even first-person shooter action gameplay elements. It had all the ingredients required for a successful game series: compelling story and universe, great visual design, and a unique USP. But it would seem not enough for Sega to develop the series further. It's amazing to think that there are games out there that have huge commercial success and critical success but don't get a sequel. These games cost a huge amount of money and take a long time to develop, and often a sequel can help refine the experience and recoup the developer's costs. Smash TV is one such game, and the arcade and console classic was a critical and commercial success, with it gaining cult status amongst modern and retro enthusiasts. It was a twin-stick shooter and is set in a futuristic game show where contestants fight their way through bloody and deadly rooms, collecting cash, gold, stereos, and weapon upgrades as they compete for their lives. It's amazing to think that this thoroughly enjoyable game never received a sequel, given how compelling the story and gameplay were. Some people point to Total Carnage as its spiritual sequel, but this in reality is just a new IP using the same game engine. Decap Attack is a unique game in our one-hit wonders list, as it is in fact a reskin of another game, Magical Hat, which in turn was an update for the 8-bit games Cool Kid and Psycho Fox. Decap Attack was no simple reskin though. Everything was redone: level design, character design, story, and even gameplay mechanics. The game is a fan favourite and has regularly made it into the best game categories in gaming publications. Personally, this is one of my favourite titles on the console and is one of the more original games that you'll find on the system. But despite everything the game had going for it, including its own comic strip, the game never saw a sequel. Alice Dragoon is on our list, and it was a critical success but a commercial minnow, and is often called out as a hidden gem on the system. The Western version of the game is widely considered its best incarnation and boasts some beautiful sprite work, solid platform design, and unique for its beast companion mechanic. The game is still loved by fans and continues to impress people even to this day. Whilst it's not hard to see why a commercial flop would not get a sequel, Alice Dragoon is certainly a game deserving of one. Treasure are known for creating some of the most original and enjoyable games on Sega's 16-bit console. Alien Soldier was a critical success and a solid fan favourite with its original level structure, fast-paced weapon systems, and stunning visuals. The game is essentially a boss rush mode with waves in between, giving the player the opportunity to power up and restore lost health. The game was initially developed by a single member of the Treasure team, but eventually needed a small team put onto it in order to get the game out. Despite being well received, Treasure never went back to the game to create a sequel. Zero Tolerance is quite possibly the best first-person shooter on Sega's 16-bit console and one of my all-time favourite games on the system. Level design, enemy types, weapon selection, and gun gameplay made this an instant classic. It supported multi-link, where two consoles could be linked to each other and two players could play on two separate screens. There was a sequel in the works called Beyond Zero Tolerance, but this was cancelled and Zero Tolerance remains a one-hit wonder. Whilst most one-hit wonders are best off staying one-hit wonders, there are some games that deserve a sequel, and the awesome Sunset Riders is one of them. I played Sunset Riders first in the arcade and then later on both the SNES and the Mega Drive, and I love this game. It's one of my all-time favourite arcade games. The gameplay mechanics are deceivingly simple, with more experienced players knowing how to get the most out of them. Gunplay is insanely satisfying and the sprite work was gorgeous. Even when it was out in the arcades, we'd talk about what a sequel would look like, but no sequel came. Researching this show has been a ton of fun, finding out about games that I'd naturally think would have some kind of sequel, if not on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis, at least on another more modern platform. But there are so many games out there, so many great games that were either commercially successful or critically successful that never got a sequel. And there's a ton more that are out there on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. Now, if there's any games that you can think of that were either critically successful, commercially successful, or just great games, make sure you drop down into the comments box below and let me know what those games are. If you're new to the show and you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not consider subscribing? You can do this by clicking on a little button just below this video. And we put out brand new retro gaming videos every single Monday. And so that you never miss one, make sure you hit the little bell, also just below this video. Now, if you can't wait until Monday, don't worry, because we've got a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos, 2 of which you can watch over here.